Welcome back, wrestling fans, to a night that will be etched in WWE history forever. On the September 1, 2025, episode of Raw, AJ Lee, a ghost from the past, pulled Roman Reigns from an ambulance and led him back to the ring in a moment so raw, so electric, it was as if the very soul of the WWE Universe came alive to confront the betrayal of Seth Rollins' vision. The aftermath of Clash in Paris 2025 left the wrestling world reeling. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, had been savagely attacked by Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, members of Seth Rollins' ruthless faction, the Vision. The assault left Roman with fractured ribs and a possible concussion, his body broken as paramedics loaded him into an ambulance. The sight of the indomitable head of the table, a man who'd carried the Anoa legacy through fire, reduced to a stretcher was a wound to every fan's heart. But then, as the ambulance doors were about to close, a figure emerged from the chaos. AJ Lee, absent from WWE for a decade, stepped into the frame, her eyes fierce with determination. The crowd in the arena erupted, a tidal wave of shock and hope washing over them. AJ, once a trailblazer and a friend to Roman, wasn't just back, she was there to pull him from the brink, to remind him who he was when betrayal threatened to break him. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. Alright, we're halfway through, and things are about to take a serious turn. If you thought you knew where this was going, think again, this is where the real drama unfolds. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come. The history between Roman and AJ is layered with unspoken bonds. In 2014, their on-screen alliance sparked rumors of a real-life friendship, one built on mutual respect in a business that thrives on mistrust. AJ, with her defiant spirit, was a confidant to Roman during his rise as the big dog. Her sudden departure in 2015, tied to personal struggles and CM Punk's exit, left a void. Now, her return felt like a resurrection, a spark to reignite the fire in a man who'd lost too much. Roman's injuries were no storyline. The fractured ribs, the lingering effects of his leukemia battles, and the emotional toll of Paul Heyman's betrayal at WrestleMania 41 had pushed him to the edge. In the ambulance, his face was a map of pain and grief, not just for his body but for the family he'd built. The bloodline, once a symbol of unity, was fracturing, with Jey and Jimmy Uso struggling to hold their bond together amidst the chaos. AJ's presence was a scandal in itself. Her return wasn't scripted, according to insiders, but a personal choice driven by the turmoil she'd watched unfold from afar. Her husband, CM Punk, had been betrayed by the Vision at Clash in Paris, with Becky Lynch's low blow securing Seth's World Heavyweight Championship. AJ's decision to step back into WWE wasn't just about Roman, it was about righting wrongs, confronting a faction that had turned loyalty into a weapon. As AJ helped Roman from the ambulance, the Raw crowd felt like they were witnessing a miracle. His steps were unsteady, his breathing labored, but the fire in his eyes was undeniable. AJ didn't speak, she didn't need to. Her presence was a vow, a reminder of the scrappy underdog who'd once stood by Roman when the world doubted him. Together, they marched toward the ring, the arena shaking with chants of, "Roman's back." The confrontation with the Vision was electric. Seth Rollins, flanked by Becky Lynch, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker, stood in the ring, their smug confidence faltering as Roman appeared. Seth's betrayal of Roman, rooted in their Shield days and cemented by Heyman's defection, was a wound that hadn't healed. Seeing AJ, a figure from their shared past, by Roman's side was a shock that left Seth visibly rattled. Roman's voice, when he finally spoke, was raw with emotion. "You thought you could break me, Seth," he said, his words cutting through the arena's roar. "You took my family, my Wiseman, my pride. But you forgot who I am." AJ stood silently beside him, her gaze locked on Becky, a silent challenge between two women who'd once defined an era. The moment wasn't just about wrestling, it was about reclaiming a legacy from the jaws of betrayal. Backstage, the dynamics were chaotic. Jey Uso, watching from the shadows, was torn between pride and fear for his cousin's health. The Usos' own struggles, Jimmy's brief flirtation with the Vision, mirrored the real-life fractures in the Anoa family. The Samoan dynasty, a pillar of WWE, felt like it was crumbling, with Roman's defiance in the face of injury a testament to his role as its heart. The health crisis was real. Roman's fractured ribs and concussion were no kayfabe, and doctors had warned he risked permanent damage by returning too soon. Fans on X were divided, some hailed his courage, others begged him to rest, haunted by his leukemia history. The image of Roman, battered but unbowed, walking with AJ's support, was a reminder that wrestlers are human, their bodies and hearts pushed to the limit for the fans. AJ's return stirred memories of loss. The WWE Universe carries the weight of tragedies. Eddie Guerrero, Bray Wyatt, and Roman's brush with death in that ambulance felt too close. AJ's presence was a spark of hope, but also a reminder of the fragility of the connections that define this business. Her own exit in 2015, driven by personal and professional turmoil, made her return feel like a second chance, not just for her but for Roman. The scandal of the Vision's rise added fuel to the fire. Seth and Becky, WWE's power couple, had become villains in a way that felt chillingly real. Their real-life marriage made their on-screen dominance even more cutting, as if they were flaunting their unity while Roman's family fell apart. Braun Breaker's theft of Roman's, Shula Fala, was a desecration, a taunt that mocked the Anoa'i legacy. Roman's return to the ring wasn't just defiance, it was a declaration. He spoke of the Shield, of the nights he, Seth, and Dean Ambrose dreamed of conquering WWE. Seth's betrayal wasn't just personal, it was a betrayal of those dreams. AJ's presence, a link to that past, gave Roman the strength to stand, even as his body screamed in protest. The crowd felt it, their chants of, "Acknowledge him," a roar of support for a man fighting for his soul. Backstage, the locker room was a tinderbox. Sami Zayn, a former ally, watched with admiration, while others, drawn to the Vision's power, kept their distance. CM Punk, reeling from Becky's betrayal, was reportedly in contact with AJ, their marriage strained by her unscripted return. The idea of Punk joining Roman and AJ against the Vision sent fans into a frenzy, but trust in WWE is a fragile thing, and no one knew if these wounded souls could unite. The emotional weight of this moment was crushing. Roman, a man who'd carried the weight of his family's legacy, was fighting not just for titles but for redemption. AJ's return wasn't just a nostalgic pop, it was a reminder that loyalty, even when lost, can be found again. Her choice to pull Roman from the ambulance was a stand against the betrayal that had defined this feud, a vow to fight for something bigger than herself. The Paris crowd played their part, their passion amplifying the drama. Their chants of, "Welcome back," for AJ and Roman's family, for Reigns echoed through the arena, reaching the ambulance where this moment began. That connection, raw and unscripted, gave Roman and AJ the strength to face the Vision, a reminder that the fans are family when blood ties falter. Roman's health crisis added urgency to the story. His leukemia history makes every injury a gamble, and fans worry for Joe Anoa'i, the father and husband behind the tribal chief. His decision to return, with AJ by his side, was both heroic and heartbreaking, a testament to the sacrifices wrestlers make for the moments that define their legacy. The Vision's dominance was a scandal that shook WWE. Seth's promos, mocking Roman's injuries, were vicious, with Becky's smirks adding insult to injury.